So guys, I am outside 90210 Watches here in Beverly Hills, and I'm going to pop in and see Seth. A lot of you guys were asking if I'd be seeing him whilst I'm here. We're going to go and look at some absolutely amazing watches. Seth's waiting to meet us for the first time. Very much looking forward to it. Let's get in and see what he's got to say. Seth, how you doing?
Paul?
Good to meet you.
Welcome.
How you doing?
It's an honor to have you here.
Oh, very honoured to be here, mate. What a lovely place you got here.
Thank you.
I've been really looking forward to this. So many of my viewers have been saying, Paul, are you going to go and see Seth? Absolutely, so I'm really pleased to be here, and we're going to have a little look round.
All right.
So Seth, really pleased to be here. So many of my viewers were saying, are you going to pop along and see Seth? Here I am in the wonderful 90210 Watches.
Thank you.
First of all, I always like to go back right to the very beginning.
Yeah.
Where did your watch dealing career start?
Okay, so I started dealing in watches in 1991. So in 1991, this is when there was this incredible market where there were Swatch watches available in the United States that you could literally buy for retail price and then flip them for over retail price.
Yeah.
As many as you can get your hands on. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
It's unbelievable that you could literally buy a watch for 50 and sell it for 70.
Maybe we own more to Swatch than we give them credit for.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. So that's how I got my start back then as a kid.
And that's where your passion came from. And when did you sort of like get your own first business? You know, when did you start selling watches seriously?
Well, so by the time I was 17, 18, after doing swatches for a couple of years, that's when some of my clients in Italy started dealing in Rolexes. Mm-hmm. And so then I started transitioning to Rolex. So I just went straight from Swatch to Rolex. And I did that for several years. I went to school, got out of the watch business for a while, took a break, got into a different business, and then came back into the watch market right basically when the internet started blowing up in 2001.
Yeah. That's again, familiar for me. I mean, I think a lot of watch dealers actually, they have little breaks in their earlier careers and always, you know, sort of you gravitate back to what you love doing most of all.
Right.
What's your core business here? I mean, you've got a lot of Rolex, you've got AP, you've got Hublot, you've got RMs. What's your core business here, would you say?
So I'd say that my core business has to right now definitely be pre-owned Rolex.
Yeah.
Because this is, you know, predominantly where the market is pushing. However, right now we're doing a lot of Pateks, we're doing a lot of AP, and then I'm doing some other brands like IWC, Ulysse Nardin, Hublot, Cartier, Panerai. We're doing all these other brands as well, but it's definitely right now pre-owned Rolex.
Do you have a favorite brand yourself that you wear?
Well, I mean, I like AP. I like that's what everyone else is wearing right now, but I've been wearing it for years. A thin little AP Royal Oak. This is the best watch, I think. For me, I got a smaller wrist, and that's what I like.
Let's go back into the entire watch market, if you like, for the last couple of years, because obviously since COVID, things have changed. It's been different. Was COVID a tough time for you in your business?
Well, ironically, during COVID, I was able to sell my initial website, Essential Watches. So COVID was good for me. I feel like in 2021, I sold out to one of my investors, and I rebranded about a year later 90210 Watches. But yes, COVID was a difficult time in the sense that there was such a quick run up on prices. It was actually tough to keep up with the market and to actually have the stock. And so many new people jumped into the market. So many guys that they could have been a real estate agent or a stock broker or whatever, and all of a sudden they became watch dealers overnight. Flippers. So you're having to compete against flippers when before, you know, you kind of knew who your competitors were, and now all these guys are coming out of the woodwork. So it made it tougher, that's
something
for sure.
I'm always saying, there's a big difference between a flipper and a professional watch dealer, right? And I think a lot of people have trouble telling the two apart, but hopefully that's part of my job on my channel, is to educate people between a flipper and people like yourself that do this professionally. It's your life, it's your living, it means everything to you,
Exactly right, and we're not fly by night. We're gonna be here. Any issues with the watch, you come back, we take care of it, that's for sure.
So in the build up to the price rises that we saw, which were, let's be honest, pretty crazy, did you see that coming, and was there a time during that period when you thought, hold on, this can't go on. It's got to stop somewhere.
Oh, for sure. For sure. In fact, we even look at some of the videos that I did with producer Michael in the middle of COVID. We were already speculating that this definitely was going to have a tough time getting higher. That the prices really were at a certain point where there was no way these prices could continue going. Like, for example, on the Tiffany dial 41 millimeter. I mean, how could, in US dollars, how could they go past $35,000 for a watch that retailed for $7,000? It just didn't make any sense. I was really being cautious, and I wasn't actually buying a lot of this merchandise for stock. I was still selling it. I would acquire it as I needed it for my clients, but I really wasn't stocking at those price levels.
Yeah, I mean, my advice to my viewers during that time was, look, I can't honestly say that I believed in those prices. My view was that, look, if you wanted to be in the game at that time, those are the prices that you had to pay, but go into it with your eyes wide open. This is not necessarily an investment as such at that level.
Right.
What are you saying to, or what were you saying to your customers during that time? Was it a pretty similar line?
You know, what was I saying? I guess for the most part, I was. Let's say they were buying a Pepsi Jewellery, and the price was up at, back then in US dollars, 27, 28,000. I was telling them that usually you can look to lose about 20%. 10 to 20% is usually what you lose if you sell back a brand new watch as a used watch to a dealer. So that's kind of what I was saying. Now, we've had a bigger pullback than 20%, obviously, but there was no way, obviously, of predicting it exactly.
Well, exactly. I don't think any of us saw the rises coming. We didn't necessarily see that. I'm not going to call it a crash. I don't think it was a crash. It was a correction. I don't believe we've seen any crashes. I just see corrections to where, not even where we once was. I mean, if you look at prices today, they're still higher than they were pre-COVID, right?
For sure. Absolutely. The watches that went up the most are the ones that got hurt the most.
Naturally,
So, I mean, there's some APs that retailed for around 60,000 that people were asking 180, 200,000 just for a stainless steel. I have one of them, stainless steel chronograph. This was with the green dial. These were 170, 180. Now they're 100. Still over retail, but that's a huge pullback.
And people often say to me, as a former dealer, are you sorry that prices are dropping? Well, I don't know what your opinion is, but for me, if I was still dealing, I'd actually be pleased that the prices are dropping back a little bit. It means I've got to lay out less, I can buy more stock, so there's less risk involved. How do you feel about that?
Well, what I like about the fact that some people, the prices went down, I just feel like it's getting rid of a lot of these overnight dealers.
Absolutely.
So it's like, at least I can be competitive against guys that I know who they are. And instead of Joe Schmo who just opened up down the street, overnight.
But we'd rather be buying them cheaper than dearer, right?
Yeah, for sure. But these are more realistic prices, and it's a correction. Is it healthy? Some people say yes, some people who got hurt will say no, very unhealthy.
Well, I have to say though, in the last few weeks, I think probably since the end of January, I think we're seeing slight increases again.
Yes, certain watches have stabilized and went up a bit, yes. A lot of the Rolexes have, although there's other watches that we're still seeing the pullback on. A lot of the Royal Oaks, for example.
So let's say I'm a regular client. I don't know what your regular client in Beverly Hills and area is, because it's a little bit different from where I am, for example. But if I'm a regular client and I come in, I've got maybe 20 grand to spend. Where would you be pointing me today?
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Have you already purchased your first fine watch, or are you a rookie?
What a great question. Exactly, that's the right answer. I would say, look, this is my first watch. I want to get into a luxury watch brand. I've had a look around the malls, and I've spoken to a few friends that really don't know a lot about watches, so I'm coming to an expert. I've got 20 grand to spend. And I'm looking for some advice on where to go.
So my advice for you, if you've got 15 to 20,000 to spend, I'd give you two options. One, we could try to put together 3 watches that are all priced between 5,000 and 7,000, and you're going to cover all your bases. You're going to have a stainless steel on a bracelet. You're going to have a rose gold on a strap. You're going to have a stainless steel on a strap. You're going to have a dress watch, a sports watch, a diver's watch. You're going to have a full gamut.
I like that, yeah.
Or if you don't want to actually own 3 watches, you just want 1 watch, I'm going to put you into a Rolex stainless steel sports model, for sure.
Exactly.
And what I'm really recommending right now is that the people who are going to find the most stability with their watch they're going to purchase, they're going to be purchasing 1990s sports models.
Yeah, 5-digit reference numbers.
The pre-ceramic Daytonas, the pre-ceramic GMTs, Submariners. I feel like this is the best watch you can buy now for the money.
Yeah.
If you really want it to be, to see the improvement in the price, I think this is where you're going to
see, guys, this is what it is. When you talk to the pros, you see, you get the same information from all of us, right? Because what you're preaching, Seth, is exactly what I tell my viewers.
Gotcha.
And I think the information's golden.
Yeah.
And this is why it's so important to deal with people like yourself and professional dealers who have a passion, who have a history in the industry. That's where you're going to get your best advice, right?
Thank you, I appreciate that, yeah.
Well, you've got some wonderful pieces here. I'm going to be a nuisance now because I want to try some on.
Great.
Let's go for it. What do you recommend? I've kind of got a hots for a new AP, but I'm not quite sure which one.
Okay, well, listen, let me show you one of the nicest ones. All right, so I pulled out a 15202 ST, the ultra thin royal oak, the blue dial. Fantastic watch. These were up at like 110, 120,000 during the run up, and now they're more realistic at 70. Still, 70 is a lot more than they were 5 years ago, obviously, but it's still a great watch.
Very nice. Love the dial. Probably a little bit small for my wrist. I'm more of a big watch man.
Okay. The second watch I'd like to show you is the 5205 rose gold with the green dial.
This is beautiful.
This is a new release, and it is gorgeous. Look at that.
Wow, that is immense. What a beautiful watch.
Yeah, really is. And it's a handsome watch. It sits high up on the wrist. It's not humongous, only being 39 millimeters, but it is definitely sits larger than it appears.
So being based where you are, do you have what you would class as a typical client, or is it all different? You never know who's going to walk through the door.
Yeah, we never know. Because we're on so many YouTube videos, we do get a lot of guys from out of town that are tourists that come in, and they're not the typical Beverly Hills buyer. We're in a building with this is the biggest Hollywood agency in Beverly Hills, WME. So we do get a lot of the agents from upstairs. They come in and they buy watches as well. And then we're also dealing with a lot of the businessmen in the area.
Fantastic. Right, what else we got? Let's have a look. Find me something big and bold.
All right, here we go. All right, so this is a Roger Dubuis Excalibur double tourbillon. Tell me what you think about this with the orange accents.
Yeah, it's beautiful. There's a hint of RM about this for me.
Oh yeah.
When I look at it, Now everyone knows that orange is my favourite colour.
Oh, okay.
So and that is an absolute cracking looking piece. What's the price on this, Seth?
Around 160.
That is absolutely beautiful. So what's the situation with safety in LA in general? Well, what's crime, and have you had any problems yourself?
Okay, I haven't had any problems personally.
Thank God, yeah.
Thank God. Now, a lot of people though are attracting the attention they don't want to attract. They're going to a restaurant, let's say wearing an all gold watch, and then they're getting robbed later, and they're wondering why this is happening. They're being scouted on the streets. So a lot of people, especially in Beverly Hills, have stopped wearing gold watches completely.
Which is a real shame.
Yeah, it is. It's not good for business, obviously, but I get it. So yeah, crime is a problem, and they're going to need to do something about it. That's for sure.
Well, one of the reasons I'm here in the United States this week is that I'm talking to some of our important partners here in the US and law enforcement about the launch of Digital Watch Vault, which is an all-encompassing watch provenance platform where you can register your provenance of your watches, protect your watches, check against a global lost and stolen database that includes a huge list of counterfeit watches also.
Oh.
So, you know, we're very much hoping that guys like yourself will come on board,
Wow.
support the platform and be a part of a real game changer for the watch industry.
Well, that's great. I mean, the issue has always been that all these different agencies across the world, they don't work together.
Yes,
so
exactly.
it's almost impossible to, unless the factory has the stolen watch, the serial number on file.
Yeah.
It's hard to know.
And that's what we're all about. We're about pulling all those resources together to give everyone one digital platform where they can check if a watch is lost or stolen. And the advantage will be is that if a watch is stolen in London at midday, you'll be able to tell here in LA within 4 or 5 minutes.
That's amazing. Wow.
That's the aim. So, you know, we're certainly hoping to bring you guys on board as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking at some more watches before I go for sure, because you've got so much here that takes my eye.
Have you tried on Sky Dwellers?
Yeah, the rose gold Sky. Let's have a quick look at one of those.
So we got the rhodium dial, and we got the rose dial.
So Seth, before we go, I want to really thank you for the warm welcome you've given us today. I really, really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure to be here. But tell us a little bit more about how my viewers can get in touch with you.
All right, so I am basically promoting my business 100% right now on Instagram. Mm-hmm. So if you follow 90210.watches on Instagram, I'm always putting up my stock. And that's how we're doing deals.
And any visitors from the UK that want to come along and see Seth, don't forget to tell him that I sent you.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll make you very welcome. Thank you so much.
You too. And by the way, can I just say something? Before we ever met, I was following you, and I really enjoy your content.
Thank you so
You're
much.
a straight shooter, and I really liked you. The first time I saw you, I liked you a lot. And,
lovely.
It's an honor to have met you today.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
for coming.
I appreciate it. Take care, brother. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. So just in the car, heading back to the Andaz Hotel. I've got Kev in the back there. You're right, Kev?
Can you see me in the dark?
Yeah, I can just about. Actually, you look better in the dark, to be honest, mate. Sit back a little bit. Yeah, that's better.
It was a late night.
What did you make of Seth? What a nice guy.
He's a dude, isn't he?
Yeah, really, really nice guy.
Yeah.
Rolex is very much his area of expertise, and it was refreshing to hear the way he spoke about the way he deals with his customers. I really like that. I thought you was tempted with one of them RMs for a minute, Kev.
I was a little bit small though on the wrist.
Bit small for you.
Yeah. Not just the head of the watch, but the bracelet. But the guy that owned it previously had a small wrist, and it would need a larger one.
So could you be tempted with an RM, do you reckon?
I'd have to see a selection, really. I wouldn't make a choice from just 4 pieces.
Should we go and see a selection before we go?
I'd like to do that.
Yeah. Do you reckon I can get you spending loads of money on an RM?
Maybe.
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe.